live. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to migrate your Django system from system as a service to the normal VPS. So for example, if you have your Django site in excuse me, in the Heroku service, which is a system as a service system, and you would like to migrate your system to normal VPS, such as Oracle or Amazon or Google Cloud Platform GCP, something like that, and then it might be helpful for you. The reason that I make this video is that recently I just found out that the Heroku just became the pay service, but I'm not happy with that, so I decided to migrate my system to Oracle system because I found it kind of easier for me to maintain the system in my own VPS instead of using the system as a service. Okay, so this video will primarily cover the system things instead of the coding. So for those of you might be interested in doing the Django coding, you might find my other video. Okay, so firstly, the first step is that there are two sections. One is the if we want to migrate the system here from Heroku to Oracle, first we need to do for two steps. The first step is migrate the app code base from Heroku to Oracle, and the second one is the most important part, which is migrating the database. In my case, it is PostgreSQL to Oracle. Okay, so the first step is that we need to get into the Heroku repo. So we have something like an instruction. If we get into our application in the Heroku dashboard, then we will be able to see the deploy section here, and then you will be able to see what is your repo name inside the dashboard here. So as you can see here, the git push Heroku master. Okay, so let's get into it. And then, of course, we need to migrate that repo from Heroku to GitHub. So firstly, we will need to create a new repository for this code base. So I will call it colorful live Rabbit blog. Okay, and I just make it private for now. Okay, and create repository. Okay, so now we have our repository here, and then we just copy it and then get to the terminal. Might be here. Okay, so this is my terminal. Just clear it first. Okay, and this is firstly we need to log into the Heroku by the Heroku CLI. If you don't have it installed, you need to install it from Heroku website. So if you have installed it, you will be able to see this version of Heroku. Okay, now Heroku version, you will be able to see the version of the Heroku CLI, and then next step that we will need to log in, and then it will bring us to our website to log in like this, and then log in. This will show log in as soon as it is logged in. Okay, now we have already logged into our my Heroku service. Now, as you can see here, I have already have the remote of Heroku repo. So now we need to create a repo for create a new remote origin, which is linked to my new repository in GitHub, like this. Okay. Well, something wrong. I need to have add git remote add. Okay. Now, if you enter this command, you will be able to see two repo here. Okay. So firstly, we need to pull the Heroku master. Okay, so it says that it's already up to date. And then next, we will need to git push origin master, right? It says that I don't have origin. I have a typo here. So I just git remote. Anyway, git remote origin, and I will edit again. Git remote add origin, and you will be able to see that it's already origin. And then I will use git uh, push origin master, and then it will take a little bit time to push my local repository to my GitHub repository. As you can see, it has been done. Let's go back to our browser, and then you will be able to see at the refresh. Okay, good. Now is the refresh. It's already in the GitHub repository. And the next step, let's go back to our chart. Now the code base is already in our GitHub repository. And the next step is that we need to go to our VPS and then set up the environment for this code base. Okay, how to do that? If you don't have the VPS, your own virtual machine, you will need to have one. Or you can just check out my other videos, and then it shows you how to apply for the free tier VPS for Oracle. Okay, let's log into my virtual machine. This is my ARM-based Oracle virtual machine, so the name is Oracle-ARM. Okay, it's good. Okay, so firstly, you will need to install the Python environment. So because Python is very depends on is make use of a lot of virtual environments. If you don't have the utility to create the virtual environment for you, it's gonna be a hassle to develop. So the utility that I'm familiar with the Conda, so I'm gonna install Conda. For those of you might be familiar with other tool like VENB, and then you can install that by yourself. But I'm gonna use Conda in this video. Okay. So let's get it's easy to install. Let's just get to the official documentation like Honda and Honda install. Okay, and the version. Okay, probably here. No. So to install the Honda, we need to have the installer, and it's easy to just just search the Miniconda installation, and then you will be able to see the Miniconda website here, and then after getting into it, you will be able to see that we will need to have the installer to install. Okay, and it's kind of easy as long as you select your corresponding system, the image of your corresponding system. For me, is this one, and then you just simply use wget, and you copy the link, copy the link, copy link. Okay, this one. Okay, this one, and then I just hit enter, and then it will download the installer for you. So it's done. As you can see here, there is the installer here, and then after that, you can just go to next section like install instruction, and well, we can select Linux in regular installation, and then it's easy. As you can see in your terminal window, run bash miniconda. This is the file name of the file that we just downloaded, right? So we just bash, and then this one here, and then hit enter, and then it will guide you through all the installation process. For me, I've already installed it, so I don't do that. So you can do that for your next process. Okay, that's it. So once you have the conda installed, you will be able to see the version of the conda. Okay. Now we will need to create an environment for our project, right? So for So firstly, we can check out our contact environment by this command line. Okay, now I have two. So now I'm gonna create a new one. I'm gonna use conda create dash dash name, and we were gonna name it as color for live body block, and we can define the Python version 3.6.9. Okay, I think that's it. If that is not right for you, if you make a mistake, and you can always delete the environment and reinstall it again and recreate it again. Okay, in the meantime, we are gonna go back to this diagram, and then we just check what is created new environment we have already done, right? Install the dependency. I probably, if in between 2 and 3, we need to clone the repository from GitHub to our virtual machine. Okay, so let's do it. Right? Virtual machine. We haven't done this yet, and then we need to do it now. Okay, and as you can see, now the creation has already done. You can check. Okay, it's in my list. This one, colorful light block, and then we can use source activate colorful light block. Not source, is source. Okay. Now we are in our new virtual environment. Now we need to clone the repository that we newly pulled from Heroku. So I don't need this anymore. I will need to delete it. Okay. Okay, I will create a new project. I will clone the git clone here, and then we need to again copy the repository here and like this. Because this is not in my local machine, we will need to input the credential to access my GitHub repository. Now it's done, and then you can see, let's get into the color of the block. And you can see that we have all our data here. And then let's try to run the project. Python manage.py run server. Oops, there's issue, right? So it says no module of Django because we don't actually install the Django package and all the dependency yet. So go back to our chart. As you can see here, this very latest statement is install dependency. Let's try to install it here. Okay, I'm gonna increase the size of the terminal so that you see more clearly. Okay, let's install. We use pip install fire txt. I think that's it. You will soon see there. Okay, now everything is installed. If you come across some like issue of not able to build P PSY COP2 or something like COP2 binary, something like this, you will need to install the Postgres database first, and then just Google it, and then just normally this kind of situation is caused by the lack of the system-wise dependency. So you will need to install some library by install apt install lib dash dev, something like that. But you will get rid of that when you just simply search for the keyword on Google. Okay, so now we have all the dependency installed. We can check what package that we have installed. Pip list, I think it's list. Okay, that's it. We have installed all the dependency already. Now we can try to run the Python again. Now we can run the server again. Okay, now it's still some error, right? So as you can see, there are something in our code which is not able to to find out the variable, because most of the secret variable is stored in my some other in my like hidden folder. So we need to a little bit modify. Let's go back to our diagram again. We need to modify the code base to let our code to recognize all the environment variable in our local virtual machine. I mean the remote virtual machine instead of the Heroku machine. Okay. So, but you might already notice an issue or a problem or a situation that how could we how, for those of you who you might already realize that there is an issue that how could we edit the uh, code base through code base inside the remote virtual machine, because it's not in the local machine. It doesn't have the uh, code editor installed. But most of people probably don't want to edit your code through the normal terminal editor. So in my case, you can use Vim or Nano or something to edit the code base in the remote machine if you are familiar with. In my case, I'm not familiar with those kind of terminal editor. So I have installed the kind of VS Code remote code server in my virtual machine, so that I will be able to access the my code base through the web browser in a VS Code interface. So if you are interested in this, I have another video to teach you how to install the VS Code. I will link I will pass the link now in the description. So uh, it will be like this. Okay. Now what I will do is just to it's very convenient. I can just open the my directory here, and then it just opened a new project for me. Okay, so now I'm in my project folder. Now this exactly the VS Code, and I can edit the code. Okay, and let's run that again to see where is the issue. Okay, we will be able to see that on the very beginning of the log, Django secret key is not recognized. Okay, so we just search where is the code. Okay, this one. Okay, we found the issue, right? So this code means that the code base will search for the environment variable if there is Django secret key in the environment variable. If not, it will go to this file to see if there is this file, this variable. So let's go to see if we have this file or not. Make note, and where is it? Make note constant. Okay, here. Well, this is the constant. Make note constant import. Make note there should be a constant depth under the make note folder, but we don't have that, as you can see, because this is a secret development folder. Content all the secret key, so it should not be exploring to outside. So it's okay, it's secure, it's not to be here. So in this case, the code base just search for environment variable, and then there is no this variable, and then it go to check if there is a file, and then if there is, and then it will get the variable here. But in this case, we don't have this file here. So of course, our code base cannot find anything, this variable. So it has the issue here. Key error. Okay, so there are two solutions. One is to add the variable into environment variable. Another is add a constant dev inside your this folder. Okay, so I will just choose either one and then go ahead. Okay, now I use the approach of adding the secret file inside my folder, which is called constant dev. Okay, then after that, let's try to run server again. Oops. Now you can see another issue shows up. You must set the setting allow host if debug is false. Okay, so let's try it here. Now firstly, because we are gonna debug our website, so we better to set it as true, and then we will be able to see the detail. Now let's try it again. Okay, now I think it's quite a big progress, even though there are still some warning, but the server is now running. Let's see what is the issue. Well. Recapture key. Okay, it should be the recapture issue because I'm using recapture. But let me get rid of this. The problem is that I forgot to put the recapture key into the dev constant. So after adding it, I think it will be working fine. Let's try to run it again. Okay, I think it is working fine now, and then it is listening to 8000 port, and everything is working fine. Besides this part, you have 164 unapplied migration. This is just as we expected because that we don't set up our the, the we don't set up yet of our database. So now let's go back to our diagram here. Obviously, we have already done the modify code base and then run the test server without any problem. And then now there is no database. So let's try if we can see this website and then what will be the website like. Okay, like this. So in this case, we are not gonna run this in 8000 port of localhost because I am not able to access localhost 8000 through the internet. So now we are going to run this on server again and then define the IP address and the port 3000 and maybe 2 because 3001 is used by my code server as you can see here. Okay, now it's here. And then the next step is that don't remember to, okay, let's demonstrate one thing. Before doing so, before accessing this port from outside of the wall, you need to open the security door for people from outside of the wall. The first one is go to the Oracle website, cloud infrastructure, and then login, and you need password. Okay. Okay, probably it's not this one. Okay, after logging in, go to this section to see the virtual machine that we have, and this one, and then we need to check out the subnet, and then in the very bottom you will be able to see the security list, and remember to add the 3002 on the rules. Okay, I have already added. If you don't, you need to add this one. And the second one is the IP tables. So in the virtual machine, so we need to check IP if the 3002 port has already been opened enough. IP tables. This. Okay, let's go to the very top and see here, filter section. This one, input accept, and here you need to make sure that you have this line here. Okay. Now let's try run again. Let's manage.py. Run server 0.0.0.0 semicolon 3002. Okay, now we can try to access 3002. Okay, now I think we can see our website, even though it's already it's not yet the error. So what does it show? It shows that you might need to add to allow host. Okay, so because we are now in the debug mode, and then the Django for this security, because we are now in the debug mode, and Django for the security reason that it blocks all the allowed hosts, so that we will need to set up the host to allow somebody to get in. So we just allow everybody like this. Oh well, we need to have it in double quote to Revit, and as you can see now, it should be changing to another arrow. Okay, good. Now the new arrow is the no such table vector called site. It's very obvious that the error is caused by database. So now we can go back to our graph, and then to make sure that everything is done right in this step, we can run the test server without database with the arrow website. So the next very important part is to set up the database, to get the database from Heroku, and then migrate the database from Heroku to Oracle. Okay, then how should we do this? Is that the first part is that we need to pull the database from Heroku. This one. Let's go back to the terminal and cancel this. Okay. Remember that we have the Heroku command, right? Oh no, we don't have Heroku command here. Okay, we need to get out of this virtual machine because it's in the Oracle virtual machine. It doesn't have Heroku here, so we need to get out of here. And then in my local machine now, we have Heroku. Yes, and then we need to use this command. And okay, we use this command to remove this not found. Okay, we need to use remote, right? So let's see. Remember that we have checked our remote repository of Heroku, right? Like this. So we need to use this remote name before that I see. Okay, let's do that. We need to do this command again and with Heroku. I just copy this slide and then pass it in here to make sure that you can see the link. You can copy the link when you are following with my video. Okay. Now you can see the backup of the database has been done. You will be able to see the B10 in the Heroku dashboard as well, but we don't do that for now. Okay. Now another command we will need. This command means that it will back up the current database in Heroku, and then now we need to pull this from Heroku to our local machine. So this is Heroku PG for PostgreSQL backup download -r -r again Heroku, and then running is not the Heroku Well, I think I got the typo here. It's backup. Okay, and then it will download the database from Heroku, this remote report. I will also put this down here, just in case you need this. Oops. Okay, now it has done it downloading, and let's see if we have this folder. Okay, now we have one more folder here. This latest dump. This dump file is for the PostgreSQL, and then we can use this uh, dump file to restore our database. So now we will need to move this to our remote version here. A very handy part of the code server is that we can just simply drag and drop here. Just a second, let me do my okay. Let's do one thing, which is copy, maybe move. Okay. Maybe move, and this latest dump to my local machines download. That's it. And then we will be able to see the file here in the download. And it's very important, very handy part of the server is that I can just simply drag and drop, and then put it here. Super useful. And then I have just moved the dump file from my local machine to the Oracle VPS. Okay, it takes a little bit time. We just wait for it a little bit. Latest dump the backup file here, and the next step is to restore the database from the backup file. And so I think if you have been gone this far to here, the database PostgreSQL has been already installed in your system. You can check by this command: systemctl status, and then PostgreSQL. And then if you can see the same screen as I do have, you have already installed it. And the next section is getting into the PostgreSQL command line by this command. This is the default username and PSQL, and you will be asked by the password. And when you get in, just check it /L to check all the database. And then you can see many because I have done so many tests. Now we need to create one by this command. Create database. The name of the database. We use colorful line block, and then don't remember semicolon. Okay, create it, and then we just /L to check again if it is created. Yes, it was created. It has been created, and then we can get out of the command, the CLI by /Q, and then now we have the database. We need to set up. We need to restore the database, and we can use the Postgre. I always cannot pronounce it good. This name, PostgreSQL, and the command here, sudo pg store restore. Okay, now we have our backup file here inside the virtual machine. As you can see, we have the latest dump file here. So the next step is going to restore the data from this latest dump file. Firstly, we will need to have our database, and then we will need to create one. For those of you who have already gone so far till now, you must have already installed the PostgreSQL, and all we need to do is use this command to access the database. If you are not sure, you can just check the system control to check if the PostgreSQL is running fine. So if your screen showing like this as my screen list. It means that your PostgreSQL working well. And then we are going to use this command to get into the Postgres CLI, and then enter your email, and then you can use \l to check the existing database. Now you can see that there are five of them. Actually, these three are the default database, and then these two are have been created by myself for the test. And now we are going to create a new one for our the current application by this SQL command, create database named colorful live block, and then don't forget the semicolon. Okay, and then check if it is created successfully. Yes, it is. And we can get out this CLI tool by \q. And then now we can use this command to restore the database from dump file. So sudo pg restore and dash verbals dash dbname equal to the name of the database. Well, color for live block, and then dash uppercase U, and the name of the name username Postgres, and the latest is the file name, the latest dump, and then hit enter, and then the password. Okay, I think it's done. And the next one will be the important part. Let's get back to the again the Python code base, and then under the settings.py, you will be able to see the database section, and this is the default database. This is default database setting, and we are not going to use this one because Django used the SQLite for the default. We are not going to use the SQLite. We are going to use the PostgreSQL. Okay, so we are going to use this, and then engine is this. Please make sure that you type the same as I do, and then the name is the database name. User is the user who won the database, and then the password I'm not going to show you here, but I'm going to type later. And the host is localhost, and then port is the 5432. This is the default port for the SQL. Okay, and I think that's we are all set. Then we can go to next step, running our application. Okay, let's go ahead to install. Let's go ahead to run the server by Django run server. I think it's a typo here. Manage here, and 0.0.0.0 3002. Okay, and then as you can see here, it's listening to the 3002. And okay, and then we can check if our service is working fine. Okay, now that our website is backing up here, let's get into any of my posts to see if the data is actually can be retrieved well as normal. Yes, it does. It does work. Okay, so that's it. We have gone through all the topic that we have today. So the point is the migrate our Heroku server, including app code base and the database to the our VPS, the normal Linux server. And for those of you might not come from Heroku, so you might be interested in some other way to back up the database. So I list up some reference here, dump or load file from Django command, or you can just directly pg dump the database from normal PostgreSQL. Okay, so that's all the topic today. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.